In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Should I count net carbs or total carbs on a ketogenic diet? Some people believe you can subtract the fiber carbohydrates in the low-carb, non-starchy, and green leafy vegetables that you eat on keto because the blood sugar response from fiber is slower than sugary, starchy carbs. But while it is a slower response, it's not no response. Therefore, in order to be intellectually honest about your personal carb tolerance level while eating keto, you should probably count total carbohydrates. Then there is no doubting exactly how many carbs you can eat on your low-carb, moderate-protein, high-fat diet. Stop playing the math games that might be sabotaging your keto lifestyle. Count total carbohydrates, and you really can't go wrong.
Simplified short-form keto videos found exclusively at ketowhiteboard.info. Watch it, share it, live it.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. Here's how the fun works. We start off over on Instagram, so go follow me there at Living Low Carb Man. That's LivinLowCarbMan. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like Subi and Susie Girl and M. Norman. All of these guys and many more are coming in right now to engage in the content live. If you missed the live, it's all good. We do have it up for 24 hours on Instagram on replay, so go follow me on Instagram. If you missed Instagram or if you don't do Instagram, it's all good. We put all the past episodes up on YouTube, so go look up Jimmy Rants as a keyword search, and you will find over 230-something episodes and counting. I also throw some bonus content up on YouTube. So if you've never been to YouTube and the Jimmy Rants channel there, definitely go check it out. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. You can get the links to that and every way you can watch Jimmy Rants at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is in response to something I've been seeing happening out there in the mainstream over the past month or two. So everybody knows at the beginning of the year, you start getting together all of the income tax stuff. And it's about this time of the year that people really kind of ramp it up. Christine and I go see our tax guys coming up on Monday. So we're going to see him Monday. And a lot of people that have already filed for their taxes, they have noticed in their check or their refund check that it's been smaller than what it has been in years past. Or it's just different. And so what I want to talk about here today is the fact that you don't want to get an income tax refund from the IRS. You don't. In fact, you want your tax liability or the amount that you pay in, you want to be able to keep as much of that income as possible. And so not everybody understands this. And I thought, okay, let's do a Jimmy Rants and explain it a little bit. So are you ready, you guys? So if you're not familiar, and I'm looking at a few stories about this. So expecting an income tax refund, not so fast, says a local accountant. So it's like a local newspaper and this tax guy talking about it. With income tax filing season well underway, residents are coping with several changes this year to the tax law. Many people are receiving smaller tax refunds and or they're owing the IRS money. The experiences are very consistent with reports from all across the country about the impact of the changes. Word got out early in the tax season that people were getting less refund than they expected. Many have heard how the reduction in refunds is a result of a change in the amount withheld from your paycheck. So let's camp out there just a second. So if you're one of those people that got less of a refund this year, and you're wondering what in the world happened, did I get screwed? What happened? I almost invariably guarantee you what happened was this. You had more money put back into your paycheck on a week-by-week basis. And a lot of people, they don't even pay attention to the amount of money that's taken out of their paycheck. All they see is the final amount. Well, if you got your final amount, say, a year ago, and then once this tax law went into place, you probably saw a bump up in your income. And so you get it on a week-by-week basis, and you're not noticing it because it's not like one big lump sum check. But you want it to be in there on a weekly basis. People can't wrap their heads around that. They're like, well, wait a minute. I'm used to getting a $3,000 check back from the IRS. But what that is the overage of what you paid in taxes. In other words, your liability is a certain amount. And if you got $3,000 back with a tax refund, it's a direct result of you overpaying your taxes by that amount. So to me, it's wiser to adjust the amount of money that's being taken out so that you're as close to zero in tax burden as possible. This is very difficult for so many people to understand, and it really isn't difficult at all. The goal is to break even. You don't want to have a refund. Because of changes in how the government calculates withholdings, employers often took too little out of the workers' paychecks, and they all ended up paying more. So if your employer is taking out the money for you, you need to talk with them about trying to make sure that they're taking out enough money out of your check so that you then have less liability once it comes time for income tax season. Many Americans like getting a big refund. Psychologically, it feels like a windfall or a reward. And I even see like, car companies and lots of other businesses actually use this time of year. I hate that they do this, but they use this time of year. Oh, you're going to get a big refund? Come on in. We'll give you a deal on our car. And it's disgusting to me. It's disgusting because you don't want to have a big refund. A big refund means you way overpaid the government what you owed in taxes. And what you ostensibly did was you gave them an interest-free loan of your money. They didn't have to pay you anything extra for them holding those thousands upon thousands of dollars for a lot of people. So if you're used to getting a $3,000 tax refund check, and then suddenly this year you only got a $1,500 one, I guarantee you got the other $1,500 in your weekly paycheck, and people aren't understanding that. For many, it's the only time of year when they have a lump sum of thousands of dollars at their disposal. They like to spend it on big ticket purchases such as new furniture or a down payment for a car, like we talked about. Getting a big refund is foolish. You're getting back your money that you overpaid to the government throughout the year. You essentially gave the IRS an interest-free loan. So if you want Uncle Sam to act as your piggy bank, then so be it, says this economics guy. He founded a local accounting firm from where this story is from. People who want to break even at the end of the year can adjust the amount of taxes that their employers withhold from their paychecks by filing an updated W-4. So if you're one of those ones who you didn't get as much of a refund and you like having a refund this time of year, then you can go to your employer and say, I want more taken out. So the way they can do that is they add in more dependents to who you claim. They can actually physically type in an actual amount of money that they will take out. So the next year you get that big old fat check. But can I tell you, that's so stupid? Don't do that. That is so missing the point. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have the $50, $80 more in my paycheck every time so that then I come back the next year, I don't owe money. Maybe I get back a little bit of money or owe just a little bit of money, but your goal is to have a big fat zero after you do your taxes. So if you're not there yet, maybe you should adjust things so that it does get there. It's an issue for a lot of people. If you're used to a large refund and you're not getting it, you got to change the withholdings. So the reaction from clients is the same as it is for millions of Americans. If they're like the majority of taxpayers who receive a regular paycheck, you're actually experiencing a smaller refund, but that's because you had more money in your week-by-week check. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys here today. Maybe you're one of those people who you were shocked that your refund check was down 16% from what it was last year. So I don't want you to look at the refund check. I want you to look at what was your tax liability. Do you know actually how much taxes that you paid in? If you don't know that number, then I encourage you to calculate that number. Because what you're going to find is that number, the actual amount of money that you paid in taxes, that number's probably down from last year. Okay? Because a lot of people, they only look at the tax refund. Oh, tax refund's down, so I didn't get as much this year, so I had a worse year. When in actuality, you had the money all along in your week-by-week paycheck. I was trying to see if there was anything else in here. Just make sure that you're getting enough taken out if you're concerned about that. And what Christine and I have come to the conclusion of is we would much rather pay than to get a refund. And obviously you don't want to pay massive amounts when it comes time, because then you don't have the money. But if you plan a little bit, set aside some money. See, here's the thing. Let's say every paycheck you set aside $50 and you get paid every other week. So 26 paychecks, and you set aside $50 in those 26 paychecks. Do you know how much money that is? It's a lot of money. So 26 times 50, and that's a good thing, guys. You want to have that ability to have that money available. So if you do have tax liability, then you're ready. And I don't think people plan. There's a lot of people that week by week, paycheck by paycheck, they get that money, they spend it on the bills, they spend all the rest of it on whatever, eating out, whatever, and then they have no money left. But if you make it a habit to go ahead and put aside money, a little bit here, a little bit there from every paycheck, this time of year, when it comes time to pay your taxes, it's not a big deal. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about income tax season, because that's where we're in. And there's a lot of people upset that their tax refund check that they usually get from the IRS is usually much bigger than it is this year. And I'm explaining that your goal isn't to have a bigger and bigger tax refund. Your goal is to have a zero on tax refund or what you owe. Or even, I would say, what Christine and I do is to pay, have at least to pay some. So hopefully this economics lesson today will help you out. They did give some warnings in this other article that I thought were really good. Make sure if you have a side gig in addition to your regular job, that you're withholding enough taxes to cover that stream of income. With so many people doing things online now and earning income from that, I know a lot of people, they sell things maybe on eBay, maybe on Amazon, and they're not taking into account that's income that's reported to the IRS, and then that can mess up your withholdings as well, and why you would not have as much money in a refund check. So they have some other things about itemization, family with dependents, retirees, on and on and on. But the bottom line here, guys, in this Jimmy Rants is your goal is not to get a big old check from the IRS. Some people think, okay, well, if I get a big check from the IRS, I'm screwing Uncle Sam. No, you just made Uncle Sam happy, because you gave them the ability to take your money and then to put it in investments, watch it grow. They get the benefits of those investments, and then they give you your money when the time comes. Why don't you take that money as it comes in week by week in your check, set it aside, and then when the time comes, you invest it and you put it in some kind of investment where it would grow for you. See, this is the thing. I wish they taught economics a whole lot better than they do in America, because I don't think very many kids, and dare say a lot of adults, understand the whole basics of how economics works. And so if you're looking for, and a lot of low income families are this way, they're looking for that big windfall of money. Oh my gosh, look at all this great. I hit the lottery. I got $3,000 back in my income tax check. That's not a good thing. You want it on a week by week basis, don't you? Don't you want another $50, $100 in your paycheck every week? Forget asking for a raise. There's your raise. You got a raise. You've just got to adjust your deductions and make that happen. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is you don't want to get an income tax refund from the IRS. And hopefully by now you understand why. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. I know this is way off of what I normally talk about, but I was seeing this so often, you guys, that I couldn't help but come on to Jimmy Rants to talk about this. Sue B says, I finally got you live. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here today. Next year, you pay tax on your refund because they count your refund as income. Yeah, well, exactly. So if you got a $3,000 check, which again, remember, is your money, but because they wrote you a check and it came officially from the IRS, Sue B is right. It does count as income, and you have to pay taxes on that. So why do that? Why not go ahead and put it in your paycheck each week, and then you're good to go? Pretty cool, huh? My favorite topic, we taught our kids this when they got their first jobs. Yeah, Grandma Does Keto. Sadly, I don't think a lot of parents are teaching their kids this stuff. And I had to learn it on my own. I never got taught from my mom or my dad about this kind of thing. I had to learn it on my own. And when I realized how much money was being taken out of my check to only just accumulate till the next year when I got this refund of $2,400, whatever dollars it used to be, I never understood it until I went, whoa. So wait a minute. So if I don't have them take out that money and they instead leave it into the paycheck, I get how much more a week? And then you start doing the math. Oh, I'm getting $87 more a week, and 87 times 26 paychecks if you're paid every other week. That's a lot of money, and it really adds up. It's pretty amazing. Harp C8 says, to teach economics, we need to tax the wealthy. Well, I don't know if that's the answer. And trust me, the wealthy pay a lot of money in taxes. That's kind of, a lot of people like to beat up on people that make money. I think people that make money, that they're Americans that are hiring people and able to give jobs. And so I think that's probably a good thing. So the wealthy are getting taxed. What was the statistic I saw? The top 1% of income earners in the United States are paying 80% of the taxes. So I do think that the wealthy are paying their taxes. I'm so danged old. I remember when this was taught in home economics and personal finance in the 8th grade. So Grandma Does Keto. Yeah, I had some economic classes when I was a child of the 80s, but it wasn't really that in depth. And they definitely did not get into all the tax stuff. It was more just personal finance things in the day-to-day, how to balance a checkbook, that kind of thing. But it was not understanding the withholdings and all of that. Alberto said, last year I changed many things on my professional carrier. I hope everything ends up fine with my taxes. Well, Christine and I, we hedged ours this year by setting aside a pretty sizable amount of money just to make sure that if we did owe, that we would have kind of a safety blanket to help us with that. Last year, I think I said this the other day when I did the credit card Jimmy Rants. Last year we got to the end and we owed a pretty good chunk of change to the IRS. And so that's when when our accountant said, hey, have you done a SEP, which is an investment retirement thing, and it cut that what we owed in half. So that saved us last year, and we definitely did that again for this year's taxes, the 2018 taxes. So, yeah, you do the things that you can to take care of business. So, guys, the bottom line, this Jimmy Rants, you don't want to get an income tax refund. You don't. Not from the IRS. Your goal is to have a zero. None paid in, any more than need be. In fact, I would lean towards you want to pay a little. And all you got to do to take care of that is just set aside a little bit each week. And whatever the difference is that you owe, why don't you owe it? And then here's the thing. You put aside all this money, you put it in even the smallest interest-bearing savings account, then you get that interest on top of your money. And that's at the end of the day, it's your money. So don't give it to the IRS. Don't give it to the government interest-free. Allow yourself to have the income that you work hard for. You work hard for your money. So use it. Jimmy is shrinking before our eyes. Thank you for that. I am still doing very well on keto carnivore. So, all right, guys. So that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. And as always, if you want to engage live in the content, hop on over to Instagram. That's where we do all of the fun stuff. So we start off there on Instagram Live a couple of times a day. So go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content. It is up for 24 hours on replay. After 24 hours, it does disappear, though. But you can see all the past episodes on YouTube. Just type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, we have a Jimmy Rants podcast, which has the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. JimmyRants.com is the website. So until next time, we'll see you then.